I wanted to ask you this. You started that book, and this was written in '04, that's 16 years ago. You said, commodities get no respect. So almost 20 years later, has that changed, Jim, today?
No, they still get no respect. Most commodities, certainly not now. I mean, there have been periods. I mean, oil went to 150 for a minute, for a day. Yes, things do happen. But for the most part, people have ignored commodities again. But don't worry, they'll be back, especially if we keep printing money the way we're printing money. And especially if economies keep collapsing. Nobody can go to work. Now, that cuts demand, but it also cuts supply eventually. And if they keep printing money, the demand will be there.
We've seen Wall Street heavyweights recently step into the gold market who perhaps never liked gold. So is that telling now, Jim?
In my view, Daniela, we are now having another move in gold. I started buying gold again in 2019, the last summer of 2019, and this is going to go on for a while. So yes, you have to have heavyweights come in to keep the move going. You have to have a lot of new people come in, and they will be back. Don't worry, they will be back. One of the things about markets is many people don't want to buy until they're moving. That's not the way you're supposed to invest. You're supposed to buy low, but a lot of people like to see it moving, and then they jump in. So they'll be here. They're coming. Don't worry.
Jim, it is indeed a volatile times we are living in right now. Layoffs, people afraid of recession, losing their job, inflationary fears. If I had to ask you 3 tips for investors watching right now.
Watch Stansberry research.
1.
Watch that. 2, learn about gold and silver, because gold and silver are probably going to go into maybe even a period of maybe a mania even. I hope not, because I don't want to have to sell my gold and silver, but you should learn about it. And you should learn about what's happening in the world. Daniela, I am always startled at how few people are aware of what's happening. The United States is the largest debtor nation in the world by many factors, and we keep adding staggering amounts of money to our debt. This has always ended badly. I mean, it's not just the U.S., the Japanese, oh my gosh, those guys, the head of the Bank of Japan goes to work every morning early, cranks up the printing presses, prints as fast as he can. He wants to print unlimited, that's his net worth, unlimited amounts of money, and buy stocks and bonds and ETFs. I mean, this is going to end very, very badly when it ends.
So going back to what you're saying about educating yourself, does that still ring true today for you?
Oh, absolutely. Some people will watch a TV show and think they know something, think they have learned and understand, or they will read a book and think they understand what's going on. No, I hate to say it, Danielle, I've been investing a long time, and I'm still, to this day, shocked at how little people know, much less how little they understand about the world, about money, and about investing.
The Fed finds themselves really in an inescapable trap here, Jim. How do you think things play out from here?
Daniela, there is an election coming up, and all the people in Washington will do anything they can to get reelected. Democrats, everybody, that's their job. That's what they think of as their job, to get reelected. So who knows what kind of news is going to come in the next few days, few weeks. You should be worried about after. You should be worried about 2021. But in the meantime, politicians all over the world are doing their best, and central bankers all over the world are doing their best to keep this madness going.
So, Jim, right now, considering gold's at all-time highs now, and based on what you've taught me before, can I safely assume you're not buying right now? Are you buying gold?
I bought a little bit today, just so tiny it's not even worth mentioning. I bought a little more silver today. It's nighttime in Asia now, so we're ahead of you. I'm not jumping in with both feet by any stretch of the imagination, but I plan to buy a lot more gold and silver over the next year or two.
Let me ask you this, because one thing I've noticed during this pandemic, Jim, is I think a lot of people have a lot more time. They're at home and they're thinking a lot about many more things. And one thing they're looking at is their dollar bills and thinking, what is the real value behind this? Do you think that more people are are embracing or wanting to learn more about alternative assets like Bitcoin, like
more,
gold?
There are more people. Gold is, made all-time highs 2 or 3 weeks ago. So somebody is looking at it and thinking about it. Yes, of course, but not nearly enough. I mean, very few people. Gold is down 10% already from its all-time highs. So most people do not have a clue. Most people want their congressman to spend more money for them. That's unfortunately the way most people think, and they don't understand the consequences. I mean, Daniela, it's a wonderful time to be old in North America. Young people have a bleak future. I have 2 teenage children. Oh my gosh, what the world that they're inheriting 5 years from now, 10 years from now, somebody's going to say, wait a minute, look at all this debt. What do we do about all this debt?
Well, that's a really... it's just such a scary thought, Jim. And what about also the way we work, right? This pandemic has completely revolutionized, the concept of office spaces and whatnot. How will that look in the future?
Well, I'm not in the States, but what I read and when I speak to friends in New York, I hear that there's a lot of empty space now, and it's not just temporary anymore. A lot of shops in New York are boarded up. And many of them are not going to come back, many restaurants. So there are changes taking place in the world. Anytime there's a crisis, it opens people's eyes to a lot of things, and they think new thoughts and new ways of doing things. And some of them are moving. Some of them are going to move to Miami. Right. They're going to pay New York taxes. Some of them are going to move to Texas. They don't want to pay California taxes. So it's causing lots of movement.
So if retail will be beaten down and real estate, would that be a buying opportunity?
I would not now, Daniela. I would not, because I expect eventually we're going to have a very, very serious bear market and a very bad economy for a while. In 2008, we had problems because of too much debt. Daniela, since 2008, the debt has skyrocketed, staggering amounts all over the world. Even China didn't have any debt in 2008. They spent a lot of money, helped save. Even China has debt now. So no. I would suspect that your buying opportunity is going to be when you see horrible, horrible economic news.
So will it be the next Great Depression?
Oh, I'm not smart enough for that. I suspect it's going to be the worst in my lifetime, yes. Because Daniela, the debt, I just said, the debt was terrible in 2008. Yep. Oh my gosh, the debt since then is sky.
It's nothing. That looks like nothing today.
Yeah, I was going to say in the last 3 months alone, America's added huge amounts of debt compared to what it did before. So no, it's going to be much.